Kron, right in front of you, right here.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing? It's obviously been a while since we last saw you step into the octagon. So I guess just how's life been in general since your last fight and a performance that you were just self-critical about to now? Just how's life been, camp, and everything?
Life's been good. Definitely making improvements. Every fight is always something to improve, whether you win or lose, and that's basically how my life has been. So since then, I planned to fight sooner, but life got in the way. So here we are right now, hoping to put on a good performance.
When you say it was just stuff outside the octagon that got in the way?
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously they came to you with Bryce Mitchell. I think this was the last fight they announced before, it was relatively recently. So I guess how far in advance did you know, and just us as media and fans, we weren't aware of the talks that you were going through?
Yeah, I was aware, a good amount before. But I don't know why the delay on the announcement or the delay in general. But there was some delays, but that's I feel like they were just busy and probably trying to do a bunch of things at the same time. So yeah, it would be nice to have an announcement sooner so that I could get, more people behind this, but it is what it is.
Well,
I'm grateful to be here.
To kind of go off of that, it seems like when anything is announced with you, fans get they're intrigued and excited because we don't hear a lot from you between fights.
Hopefully that'll change. Hopefully we'll get some more of that.
But I was going to ask, do you notice just the excitement and the intrigue whenever the UFC announces anything involving you? Because even before you fought Charles, there was a bit of a gap between your fights, and then when they announced your fight, people started to get excited even though you're not fighting, there's still this kind of aura of mystery around you before you fight.
Well, I think there is some mystery because I don't really, post every day and let everybody know what I'm doing because there's nothing really to say. I'm working on my life and doing things, and if I'm training, I'm focused on training. I'm not always trying to promote it, but I'm not against it too. If somebody wanted to promote it, then I would be open to that. But I think I just always have bigger priorities than to talk about what's going on, but we'll see in the future.
And just last one for me. What do you make of Bryce as an opponent? Because obviously he has very high-level jiu-jitsu. You have high-level jiu-jitsu. And oftentimes when you get two grapplers in there, it can turn into a striking match. So I guess what do you make of his skill set as a whole?
I think from what I can see on camera, he looks like he's got good skills. He's looking like he's always trying to take the fight to the ground, and he's a good grappler. It's always difficult to see what happens when I get in there with somebody because so far, generally people fight me a lot differently than they fight in their videos. So you never know how somebody's going to prepare, if he's going to come at me or if he's going to run away from me. Those things we're going to see on the day of the fight. And yeah, it can be possible that it's just a kickboxing match, So personally for me, I'm just trying to fight wherever the fight's best for me and trying to win wherever it is, whether it's on the ground or on the feet. I'm never really trying to avoid the fight. The last performance with Jourdain was my worst performance ever because I tried to listen to the jiu-jitsu world and to a lot of people around me that were telling me to just focus on jiu-jitsu and don't punch. And I think that's obviously I made a quick understanding that was not the way to go. And all of my fights in Japan and before that, you have to mix it up a little bit. And I went into that fight with one bullet in my gun, and I still didn't get my ass whooped, still didn't get finished, and so yeah, I'm looking to make a good performance and fight the best way possible.
Great. Based on what you said about Bryce Mitchell's skills, he's also known as a bit of a character in this sport. There's a time he held the Bible up in the cage and shouted freedom and stuff like that. When you see things like that, do you appreciate the quirkiness of his character, or does it not really enter your mind at all?
I noticed Bryce a while ago when he got this good submission on somebody, and the fact that he was pretty popular. So I knew that this fight could happen, and he's a grappler. So I always had my eye on being able to fight him at some point. And it is a big name, I'm a big name, whether I'm in the rankings or not, and he's a big name, and he is in the rankings. Whether he was in the rankings or not, it'd still be a big fight. And I think since I've been in my fighting. I've already had a whole career in jiu-jitsu. I don't need to fight people who no one knows. I don't need to fight people who no one cares about. So my third fight, I already fought a guy with over 50, 60 fights. My fourth fight, I fought a guy who was, top 10 for years. And I've only been fighting guys that are really good because that's what matters to me. I don't need to fight guys that are no one knows about and no one cares about. So my point is to fight the best guys I can fight and that are available, that they'll give me, So when they gave me him, I was like, didn't even have to really think about it. This is a great fight. It's a tough fight. And I'd like to show my skills. It's a different kind of fight because he's a grappler, so we'll see what happens.
And Kron, right here, going off of that, I think when this was announced, people were very excited because you were facing a grappler, and we could see two guys that are in the fans' minds kind of in the same bucket go at it in a way that they showcase their best skills. But for you, would you prefer to fight somebody that you know going in there, like a kickboxer or something, I can take him down, I have that in my back pocket, or do you like fighting somebody that has a similar style to you?
I don't really care. I'm going to have to fight everybody at some point. So the biggest fight at the moment is kind of what I'm looking at, whether it was a striker or a grappler. Just trying to check all these boxes off.
And you said that your activity is going to change soon, that fans should expect to see you more. How many times a year, ideally, would you like to get in there?
I'd like to fight it as long as healthy, if I'm healthy, as much as possible.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Kron, you mentioned your love for surfing. How does this passion help you maintain like a balance in your career? And do you ever incorporate the mental lessons from surfing into MMA?
Surfing, I haven't surfed in a while, to be honest. I like to go into the ocean, but I've been in Montana for the last few years. I did most of my camp in LA, so I got to jump in the ocean and body surf, but surfing and skateboarding kind of got put aside for me in my life, for quite a bit. I grew up surfing and skating a lot, but last time I skateboarded, I got hurt, so I stopped skating. And then surfing, again, I live in Montana, so there's no waves in Montana, but if I'm in LA, it's still a process to go surfing and to get the board and to go drive to surf and to make sure the waves are right, and it's kind of like a whole day thing. So unless I'm like on the beach already with the board ready to go, I'm not really taking time away from training or from what I'm doing for fighting right now.
I got you. And one more from me. Obviously, your family legacy is huge. I'm wondering, is there one piece of advice or philosophy you've learned from your ancestors?
I think everything my foundation for my life is coming from my dad for sure, and whatever he learned from his family and from his dad. So yeah, I mean the foundation of my jiu-jitsu and my spirit and my competitiveness and the foundation of my life comes from my dad. At some point I kind of do things my way, but my foundation is coming from my dad for sure.
Right here. Kron, right here.
Yeah.
So around the COVID time, you moved to Montana and opened your own gym. I just wanted to ask, how's that been going, and how's that been?
Yeah, that got shut down. Things happened. We shut the gym down. I have like a private place now, like where I just train with like 20 guys. And again, like I said, I'm focusing more on my training. I'm not trying to run a business. I'm not trying to do the whole academy thing right now and teach people jiu-jitsu. I've done that my whole life, and I'm really trying to take advantage of my career and my fighting. So everything is going to be kind of around me training for fights, and I think that's where I need to be right now, and that's where most fighters are anyways. How many guys are out there trying to run a gym and trying to teach classes, and it's kind of ridiculous for me to try to split my time up that much and give a lot of my energy to people who I don't need to. I need to give my energy to my training, to my fighting, and to the people around me who are helping me do that. And closing my gym definitely made that all possible.
Will we see a prime ice cream Kron this weekend?
I hope so, man. I've been training hard for that. Yeah, thank you.